My name's Manjot. I'm 23 years old and I had the lovely privilege of being born and growing up in the beautiful Mudgee region. The air just smells like the earth, like eucalyptus, like rain. My family comes from the northeast of India, from a land called Punjab. It is also a beautiful, fertile floodplain. It's also a place where farming has happened for generations. It's also a place where you can see beautiful hills in the distance. But the one thing that is different is that Punjab is on the front lines of the climate crisis. The seasons are changing. The knowledge that has been passed down through generations of my family who farmed the same plot of land, turned over the crops when the birds migrate at the right time, listened to the wind and the weather and the rain to know when it's time to harvest, listen to the seasons, and that knowledge doesn't work anymore. The heat means you can't stand in a field for a whole day working because you will drop dead.
And climate change is already hurting us right here in Australia too. We've seen bushfires and floods devastate regional communities and homes. Mudgee was actually one of the evacuation centres in the Black Summer bushfires and is going to be on the front lines of future climate disasters.
So I grew up with a really deep sense of justice and wanting to help other people because that's what my parents have always demonstrated to me. And so I spent the last 6 years of my life trying to build that climate safe future, and I helped coordinate the first ever school strike for climate in Sydney in 2018. And then about a year ago, I'm looking at this chart, reading about some of the different mines in the state, and I realized that Moolarben, the mine just down the road from me, is the biggest producing coal mine in New South Wales. And what I didn't know growing up in Mudgee and what I didn't think about was that down the road from me, coal was being dug up on an unfathomable industrial destructive scale. And this coal was being shipped away to many different countries, including India. And then when it's burnt, when it's released, when that coal dust is inhaled by people here, people across the world, and the coal releases its emissions into the air, that was driving all these climatic changes that my family and my people were feeling. My two homes were in this battle where they were hurting each other. And I realized that the fight that I was fighting for began right here where I grew up. It began where my story began. Moolarben, the expansion that's coming up in the next few months, that's on the other side of the Munghorn Gap, or where is that from?
Well, it's to the west.
To the west.
And then there's arms of the Munghorn Nature Reserve, and it's to the west and then to the south.
So we're just surrounding these creeks.
I'm Bev Smiles. I'm a member of the Wollar community. It's devastating the landscape, devastating our community and biodiversity, and it has to stop. It's what the proposal to turn it
when
into.
When they bulldoze, the trees to make the section of the mine, what happens to the animals that are in there when it's being
Well,
bulldozed?
there's supposed to be all these protocols around. They are supposed to have an ecologist to check if there's threatened species in the tree, and then do something to, remove it and then take the tree down. But there's no checking or balancing or no clear reporting about whether any of that happens. So while the companies say, oh, we've got all these really stringent conditions, it's actually then who follows up that they're meeting their conditions. and it falls on to the community
To what?
to do all of that work.
This area here is the expansion, and as you can see, it goes right down next to the Munghorn Gap Nature Reserve. The area that will be bulldozed for this pit is land where koalas live and have been, where bats are, but you can see in general that all of the mining in the region is smack bang in the middle of both the Goulburn River National Park and the Munghorn Gap Nature Reserve.
Munghorn Gap Nature Reserve is the second oldest reserve in the state, and it's in really, really good condition. This whole region between Mudgee and Wollar has been identified by Birds Australia as an important bird area, and one of those reasons is because of the regent honeyeater.
And environmental groups say they found a koala breeding colony in the path of a proposed coal mine expansion near Mudgee. Thermal drone surveys have identified 4 koalas, including a mother and a joey.
The biodiversity assessment report could not hide the fact that this was a highly significant area for biodiversity.
I'm Rosemary Hadaway and I'm the President of Mudgee District Environment Group. It's a disruption not only because of the loss of that particular land being now an open cut void in the ground, but the impact moving through the neighbouring edges of the nature reserve. So you've got dust, vibration, noise, lighting at night time. All of these things are huge disruptors to our animals.
My name's Dr. Julia Imrie. I did a PhD through Australian National University on the Goulburn River, and I think one of the most important worries, I suppose, is that if we go into extended drought, and the mine, of course, their operational needs will always trumps what the river needs, they'll stop releasing, you know, and there will be no water in the river because they'll want it all.
Moolarben Creek is a drought refuge. To lose all that groundwater, it will have untold impacts into the future. So tell me 10, 20 years' time, the immediate surround of the nature reserve, deserted and impacted with noise and vibration. It's a horrific situation.
Does this make a lot of noise, them having trucks out here all the time?
Well, it does, and particularly on a quiet night. There are times in the village where you hear actual trucks, you hear bulldozer tracks, you would hear tip trucks dumping, but the people on the southern side that sort of got pushed out early, that was their key issue, the noise. There is not one single human being living between Yulin and Wollar.
And what, this whole, and it would have used to?
It was all farming families sending kids to the school. We all knew each other.
There were marriages being divided by Peabody. You know, they came into this community and they divided and conquered people to the point where they just had to go away. And then all the dust started to happen and the smells and the noise, and so that drove more people away. So I could see, Chris and I could see, you know, the trauma that was in people's hearts and their spirits. And a lot of them still haven't got over it.
Within this story, we have community trying to grow and build resilience and protect itself from
Multinational coal companies.
multinational corporations and like destruction of environment. Like that is a story that a lot of people feel and have had their own experiences of that.
So these vacant areas here in front of us, this part of the village, all have houses on them. So that's one of the other problems and the social impacts that we've been experiencing, is having a big multinational corporation buying up property, not looking after it, not putting any input into the maintenance, and then demolishing it. because the underlying plan was to get rid of the village altogether, and we're saying, well, sorry, that's not going to happen. We're feeling that we're in a space with real opportunity to turn all of that around now. We're launching the Save Wollar Action Group this coming weekend, and we've invited people from all over New South Wales. And like this, you'll have a fire going here. We want to show people what the damage is locally and what a coal mine looks like and how much our community of Wollar has been impacted. Thank you all for making the trek out to share this weekend with us. We're a small but dedicated band, and we deeply appreciate your support and warmly welcome you as part of our Save Wollar Action Group.
It's really encouraging to see the energy and the vibrancy here today, with the possibility of reviving it to its former state and its former life.
I feel hopeful seeing people that I know grew up here who are moving back. So people are returning, so it just would be fabulous, because this country out here is special, it's unique.
And so I think coming here today has really given me a lot of hope and given me a lot of empowerment to see local communities standing up, and also to myself, empower myself to continue to stand up and support and stand with these communities.
So people have actually started to move back to the area, and we want to rebuild the dynamic community we once had. And now, New South Wales' first renewable energy zone starts right here. So we're launching the Save Wollar Action Group today because the transition starts here. But with your help through Save Wollar Action Group, we will stop this next thermal coal mine expansion.
This story is about that hometown, that regional community, and the beautiful creatures, natures, rivers and forests that make it so special. But it's also about the coal that's dug up there, and that coal has international ramifications. Australia is responsible for around 4.5% of global fossil carbon dioxide emissions, with 80% of those coming from our coal and gas exports. And Moolarben is the largest producing coal mine in New South Wales. It's responsible for almost 10% of all saleable coal in New South Wales. Coal is the single biggest contributor to the climate crisis. And here in Australia, and especially in New South Wales, it's our biggest opportunity to stop climate change. I feel a really big responsibility having the privilege of calling Australia home, to make sure that this home isn't leading to the destruction of other people's homes through fueling climate change.
But it didn't make any difference with this fire.
Been forced to flee over the past 2 days, the South Asian island nation
operations in Idukki to red alerts in Kodagu. It's a region on the edge.
I'm Asha Ramzan. I'm a first-generation migrant from Fiji. So as an Indian from Fiji, I'm a descendant of indentured labourers. And at 15, I was protesting against the French nuclear testing in the Pacific at Mururoa Atoll. I was a schoolgirl marching in the streets of Fiji. As migrants, at times, there's a lack of understanding and acknowledgement that they bring something really powerful to the table, that actually many of us have a long, long history and lineage of protecting the environment and protesting against the devastation that usually the West is causing. But we also understand, because we are global citizens, the impact it's having back home in the countries that we come from, which are part of the global South. And they have done little to create the climate change that we're living with now, but they're being asked to participate.
Why not so a landslide that it had seen never ever. That whole school got washed away. 254 people from memory died. Now while I'm sharing this is not just my story. I'm thinking of Nasreen who's sitting here. Her country is shattered into pieces by the war in Middle East. She's from Lebanon. I'm thinking of Dominguez, you, like, you know, the Pacific Islands are drowning.
And I've seen growing up, going back to Punjab every year, the seasons changing, the way of life changing, the rivers that my dad used to play in and bathe the buffaloes in every night, being rivers that I'm told not to touch or go near because they're so polluted from industrialization. The fight is so much further from here. And when I saw those fields of coal today, and those mounds of coal that are going to release these gases, that are going to enter our atmosphere, that are going to cause even more heat, all I could think was, how is anyone ever going to farm? How many more deaths will there be in the next year? How many more houses will I visit in Sydney saying, I'm so sorry, your uncle was in the field on the wrong day when there was a heat wave?
To the people of Mudgee and the people of Wollar, you are not alone. You are fighting a fight that benefits us as well, and we've been fighting a fight that we know will benefit you as well. We live in an interdependent world, and we are fully cognizant of that. We are with you.
I truly believe we can stop this expansion with the power that we have right here in this space. There are 23 coal mine proposals in the New South Wales government's pipeline. And whether they approve or reject this expansion will set the precedent for those other 23 projects. It's going to be a test for the New South Wales Labor government on what they are doing on climate and what they are doing on coal. And we have to make sure that they pass that test. And the decision point is the IPC hearing that Bev was talking about. The decision, that is where in Mudgee, a group of experts will go into a hall and they will sit down and they will listen to our testimony. And so we have a role to play in making sure that this expansion becomes completely rejectable, that there is no world in this state, in this town, in Sydney, where anyone is going to stand for this expansion to go through.
When you meet the people with the energy over decades, it's like inspiring. I'm just thinking, what can I do? we've got to keep going.
Turning on my TV, washing machine and AC, not considering the destruction that the coal power is causing to the place closer to these coal mines. So it gives me even more reason to take action.
It is just disastrous, but if we can do anything, we have to stop this right now.
I'm also so grateful for these people who fight for decades.
And I think seeing a lot of young people like me here, I think we gotta think about our future because obviously it's gonna affect our future as well. So it's really great that young people our age is here and fighting for it.
Seeing the destruction that's happening in my life, having experienced climate change, but then also, this being so close to the mines, I'm feeling very inspired about what we need to protect and what we can protect.
And I think in a year's time, hopefully we can come back here and say that there were no more trees that were logged, there was no more country that was taken, there were no more homes that were destroyed, there were no more creatures that had to sleep next to a coal mine, and that there were no more carriages of disgusting coal going all the way up to Newcastle, out to different countries, out to different homelands, and creating more and more climate impacts for people across the world. And I think we can get there. I think we have the power. So I feel the hope and the gratitude, and I'm really excited to work together to take this story out.